Imagine arriving in a city of 9 million motorbikes. The energy is electric, the streets are a beautiful, chaotic dance, and the pace is relentless. But then you cross a bridge, and suddenly the decibels drop. The air feels lighter, the streets are shaded by mature trees, and you see people jogging, sitting at open-air cafes, and kids cycling to school. It feels like a coastal resort town, dropped right into the middle of a massive metropolis.
It is one of the most fascinating urban transformations in Southeast Asia. We are talking about Thao Dien, a peninsula wrapped on three sides by the winding Saigon River. Once a quiet, swampy suburb of Ho Chi Minh City, it has evolved into what many call the Beverly Hills of Saigon. But it is much more than just an upscale neighborhood. It has become a permanent sanctuary, a true second home for a massive, highly diverse international community.
It really is a distinct bubble, but I want to dig into the why. How does an area transition from a temporary landing pad for expats into a place where people actually decide to plant deep roots, buy property, and raise their families for the long term?
Thao Dien combines ideal geography, infrastructure, and lifestyle. Its river bend creates a cooler, cleaner microclimate in the tropical city. Designed for expats, it reduces culture shock by offering a soft landing with easy access to sourdough croissants, international clinics, and top schools, all within 5 minutes.
Right, the friction-free living. And that starts with where you live. The housing landscape there has exploded over the last decade. It seems like there is a very specific hierarchy of residential projects that expats gravitate toward.
Absolutely. And it is highly segmented based on lifestyle and life stage. For instance, if you look at a project like Mastery Thao Dien, it is massive, but its appeal lies in pure convenience. It is directly connected to the new Metro Line 1 and a major shopping mall. It appeals to younger professionals or newer arrivals who want to be in the middle of a highly active, densely populated community where everything is at their doorstep.
But then you have projects that seem to target a completely different crowd, people looking for privacy and architectural sophistication. I am thinking of places like the Nassim or Gateway Thao Dien.
Exactly. Those projects represent a shift toward low-density luxury. They are developed in partnership with international builders who understand the subtle details global executives look for. We are talking about private elevator lobbies, unobstructed river views, and a level of quiet that makes you forget you are in a bustling city. And now, newer boutique projects like Thao Dien Green are stepping up the game by focusing heavily on modern, green architecture right along the river loop. It is about bringing the natural landscape into the living space.
And then there is Q2 Thao Dien, which seems to bridge the gap between that resort lifestyle and active community living.
Q2 is a great example of Singaporean-style planning. They have these floating gyms and infinity pools that look out over the river, but they also integrated a bustling commercial podium at the bottom. It creates this vertical village effect. But of course, at the very top of the ladder, you have the gated villa compounds along Nguyen Van Huong Street.
The quiet loop. That is where you see the high-walled villas, private pools, and manicured gardens.
Yes, that is the ultimate destination for diplomats, multinational CEOs, and families with significant budgets. It offers a level of security and peace that is incredibly rare in a city as dense as Saigon. You get the benefits of a suburban estate while being just minutes away from the city center.
Let's talk about that family demographic. You mentioned kids cycling to school. For anyone moving abroad with children, education is the absolute deal breaker. You cannot convince a family to settle long term if the schooling options are not there.
Thao Dien's biggest draw is its concentration of top international schools: British, Australian, European, and Ho Chi Minh City International School. These large campuses offer global curricula. Quiet, tree-lined streets allow children to walk or bike safely to school, giving parents peace of mind and creating a suburban neighborhood vibe similar to Europe or Australia.
It sounds idyllic, but let us look at the other side of the coin. When you create an enclave like this, does it run the risk of becoming too isolated? Some critics might look at Thao Dien and say it is a gilded bubble, detached from the real Vietnam. How do you see that dynamic playing out?
The critique is valid. Thao Dien walks a fine line between being welcoming and feeling like an exclusive bubble. Streets like Duc City offer upscale spots but can feel disconnected from local street food culture. However, more affluent young Vietnamese are moving in for the green spaces, schools, and modern living, making it a softening, multicultural hub rather than just a Western enclave.
So it is evolving into a hybrid space, and I suppose the connectivity helps with that. It is not as isolated geographically as it used to be.
Not at all. Historically, getting in and out of Thao Dien could be a bottleneck, but the infrastructure has caught up. You are looking at a 10 to 15-minute drive to the central business district in District 1 via the Saigon Bridge or the Thu Duc City Tunnel. But more importantly, for the business community, it sits at the gateway to the Eastern Economic Zone. If you are an expert or a director managing operations in the massive industrial parks of Binh Duong, Dong Nai, or 𝗛𝗢𝗡𝗘𝗬𝗖𝗢𝗠𝗣𝗀, Thao Dien is strategically positioned. You have direct access to the major highways and expressways. You can live in a premium riverside neighborhood and easily commute to the industrial heartlands every day. And the upcoming Metro Line 1 is going to change the game even further, linking the area directly to the city's transit spine.
It is like having the best of both worlds. You have the quiet residential retreat, but you are plugged directly into the economic engine of the region. But beyond the schools, the luxury apartments, and the strategic roads, there is something less tangible that keeps people there. People often talk about the Thao Dien vibe. What does that actually mean in practice?
When the expat community reaches a critical size, it creates its own network. Newcomers find instant support through clubs, groups, and events. This shared experience builds trust and familiarity, turning a temporary stay into a long-term home.
It makes you wonder about the future of these global villages. As cities grow larger and more connected, will we see more neighborhoods like Thao Dien emerge? Or is this a unique product of Saigon's specific geography and timing?
I think it is a template for the future, but it requires a very rare mix of ingredients. You need the natural geographic boundaries to create that sense of sanctuary, the rapid economic growth to fund high-end developments, and the opening up of the local economy to attract global talent. As we look ahead, the challenge for Thao Dien will be managing its own success. Can it handle the density? Can it maintain its green, relaxed identity as more high-rises go up?
That is the ultimate urban planning question. How do you preserve the charm that attracted people in the first place while accommodating the inevitable growth? It is a delicate balance, but for now, Thao Dien seems to have found its rhythm. It remains a fascinating study in how global citizens create home, community, and connection in the heart of a rapidly changing world. Thank you for sharing these insights today.
It was a pleasure. It is a neighborhood that always gives you something new to think about.